What's going on, everybody? Today I want to showcase a new farming spot for you all. I've been trying to mix it up and just run out there and just go and test a bunch of spots because we are doing the same thing over and over again. So I figured now is a good time to go ahead and showcase another spot that can drop some really nice legendary items. Let's get into it. First thing I wanted to mention is I have been using this map to kind of maybe scope out a few different spots. It is not complete, as many of you have mentioned in the comment section before, but I think it is a nice tool if you just want to give some general idea of where some of the monster spawns are. Once again, not all of them are updated and perfectly, accurate on this map, but it does give you an idea. Today, we're going to be heading over to the Darkwood and heading into the nesting grounds. This is a spot that I've ran through before, but I didn't find that it was absolutely amazing as a group location. In fact, I found that it was actually kind of mediocre for a group location, and so I decided to run back here and test it solo, and I found it's actually much better as a solo player. And so I'm going to go ahead and run back here and showcase the route for you all. Keep in mind that there is a shrine spawn, a couple of orange spawns in this area, especially since we have 2 shrines. It's a really nice indicator of getting some extra experience if you want that. But really, most people are concerned with legendary items, and so that means you're going to want at least a decent spawn rate of orange elites. And this area rather, happened to have it when I was testing it solo, and that's one of the biggest ways to contribute towards a bunch of extra legendary items. So hopping back into a game here, one thing I want to note before we jump over and showcase the route, I do have 90% magic find. Once again, I've mentioned this in a previous video. Every other legendary item farm spot that I found on the channel was previously with 15% magic find. So now I'm at 90%. So you can expect about a 50% increase in my personal drop rate compared to your own if you're around that 15 to 25% magic find. That has been my experience after going from 15% to 90%. So expect, again, a little bit of extra legendaries from my end compared to you if you happen to have lower drop rate or lower magic find, which will decrease the drop rate just a bit. Heading over to Darkwood, though, we're going to go ahead and just run the route here, showcase a couple of tips here to make sure you're getting maximum experience. Once again, I recommend that you run a farming build. Treasure Hunter is huge. I was just doing some Vault, so I happen to have Gladiator here, but Treasure Hunter, definitely want to run that for open world farming. And you're going to want to run a farming build. Now, the idea between this farm here is you're just going to kind of run around this area, and then you're going to want to kind of go through the middle here because that's a huge portion of the spawns. But generally speaking, it's a pretty easy farm to run. A lot of the spawns here don't spawn until you actually run next to the area that spawns the monster. So that is something to note. Again, you're going to want to just kill this as fast as you possibly can. You can run this in a group, but I've found that if you're running into a group and you're trying to do this farm location, you kill it too fast and the monsters just don't spawn fast enough. So what I like to do is run up here and then pick up these groups and then run this way to make sure I'm tagging all these monsters. Once again, as a necro, you can just run your farming build and then really just let your summons kind of tag the monsters so you can keep up your kill streaks. If you're running some other class like a wizard, you're gonna have to kind of make sure you're being very quick to make sure you keep up your kill streaks. But it's a very basic farm here. And we happen to pick up that XP shrine, as you might have seen, which is really nice. Then you're gonna go ahead and kind of follow this path up to the west here. Make sure you tag all of these spiders and then work your way south here as you're killing off. Make sure you kill off every single spider. If you do not, obviously the next group will not spawn, which is incredibly important for you to keep up your kill streak and your overall farming prowess. Now, right there, you can see I dropped my kill streak, and that was because I was just a little too slow. In fact, I also killed the enemies too quickly, which can become a problem sometimes. You're going to walk your way down and then up back around, and you're going to find yourself that you can keep an infinite kill streak as long as you're fast. Again, with Necro here, you're going to have your summons kind of make sure you tag all the monsters here, because if you do not, then you're going to have a big time struggling in order for you to get around to each of these spots quick enough. Now, the main area here, this big open area, is a large group of enemies, and that's what you're going to want to cycle back around to, because this is a huge group that's going to help you kind of get some massive XP. And it's also where oftentimes the orange elite monsters will spawn, which is incredibly important. Now, as you can see, monsters are respawning. I did happen to take a little bit longer to kill those ones at the bottom, which is why they haven't respawned quite yet. And you have to make sure you're finishing them off. You can see here there's 3 guys. That's because we did not finish off those guys up in the top, and they didn't respawn for us. However, a shrine did respawn, which is really nice. The spawn rate of these shrines are quite fast. And overall, the location of this farming spot in general is pretty solid. You can see here the spawn rates, though, are a little lower if you don't kill those monsters very quickly. That's one thing you have to really make sure you're paying attention to, because if you're not able to kill them quickly, you're going to have a hard time. So keep that all in mind as we go back around here, and we're going to kill off the next group. Again, you're really going to want to make sure you finish off these monsters so that you can spawn the next pack. Super important that you do so. And overall, as I've been farming this, and since I've been solo farming this, I've done this for a couple hours, so it's not the greatest sample size by any means. The important thing to know is that you are able to keep up those kill streaks, which is quite solid, but it is not the most amazing farm spot. It's on par with some of the other solo farming spots, getting you that about 70k experience per minute, assuming you have 100% experience gain. Again, every single time I mention the experience gain, that helps me determine how many legendaries per hour you would most likely receive, because I base all of the other legendary items per hour based on the overall compared to the XP. For example, Realm of Damnation here is about 110k experience per hour, and then with 15% Magic Find, I was able to get anywhere from 4 to 6 legendaries per hour. Therefore, if you're farming in this spot and you're at 70k experience per hour, which is a little bit more than half, you can expect about half that amount. So you could go and get roughly around that 2 to 3 mark per hour from this spot. Keep in mind that if you do have that 90% Magic Find, you will get more, and that is what I have gotten from here. I've gotten, I think in total in the last couple hours that I farmed this location, about 7 legendary items, which is more than the average player. But again, that could have just been either lucky, unlucky, who knows. But it kind of fits in with what I've expected based on my calculations from other farming spots. So hopefully this is a fun one that you get to try out. One thing I do want to mention before I kind of end the video here is there is the Purify the Corruption. Now, the reason why I'm kind of, trying out these new farming spots and just getting some extra information about all these locations is a lot of people kind of want to mix it up. And that's become something that a lot of people just are getting burnt out with doing the same spot over and over again. So if you want to mix things up and you want to go ahead and do this farm spot, you can take advantage of the Purify the Corruption event, and that is going to be an event over here on the map. You're going to go to the Tree of Inifis, and you're going to go fight your Shadow Clone after that corruption rate's 100%. And you're going to get a glowing shard or a legendary item drop rate or drop from these guys, which actually can increase the legendaries per hour. If you go ahead and do that, it will reduce your experience per hour, but it will increase your legendaries per hour up by a little bit, because that is a guaranteed at least glowing shard, but sometimes it might be a legendary item. So something to keep note and something to do if you are interested in getting those. It looks like we're bugging out and there's a yellow skull on top of us just following us around. I'm not sure what that's all about. But with all that being said, hopefully you enjoy. Let me know if there's any other farming spots out there that you may have enjoyed and taken a look at and you found that are really solid. I'll leave the map in the description down below. Once again, it is not perfect, but it may help you kind of guide your way through and maybe find some other farming spots. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you for the next one.